What's up, folks? 138 MMA here. We are live. We got Tdub helping me out today to break down this Bellator Championship Series Paris card. So we're going to break down these fights, all 10 of them. There's only 10 left. Real quick, I want to say hi to the chat. We got Mushroom out there saying, what's up, Tyler? We got Grateful Dude out there. He loves the Bellator predictions. Yes, he does. And they're chatting with each other. We got Kiwi Brew. Sure, Kiwi Brew. Sure. Good to see you guys. Guys, thank you for coming out. Tdub, what do you think about this card? Are you excited for it? Anything like that?
Yeah, I like the card so far. I think we got some good talent. We do have some fights that I think are lopsided, but, we'll go over all of that.
For sure. Bellator's got to do that. Bellators.
Yep. Yes, sir.
That's what they do. I think for us, this one starts at 10 a.m. or something like that on Friday?
Yep, 10 a.m., bright and early.
That's good. I love that. That's going to be perfect. I'll be able to watch this whole card before I even – before the evening even hits. So that's what we want. But yeah, so before we get too wild, everybody in the chat, I want you guys to shout out a couple of fights that you're really looking forward to. Shout out your parlays, shout out your bets for the card. I want to hear from you guys in the chat. Tdub and I will be going for them. We'll be chatting with you guys. We'll be highlighting you along the way, talking about all the good stuff. So shout out your stuff out in the chat. If you are watching on Twitter, if you have the opportunity, go ahead and hop on over to YouTube, at least to drop a like on this live stream. We do appreciate that. But otherwise, keep it on Twitter. That's cool too. But you YouTube crew, you guys got to be hitting the like button for me. I do appreciate it. Let's break down the first fight, at least in the order that I have them. Starting off, we have Assail Ajuj taking on Bruno Fontes. And for Fontes, I guess it's Fonts. I think it'd be Fonts because he's Brazilian, if I'm correct. And I think they pronounce it Fonts. So Bruno Fonts, he's undefeated, 6-0. Assail Ajuj, he does have that one loss, but he's, in his last 5 fights, he's been clean and he's looked pretty good. I'll kick this one off and I'll let you take over after that. So in this one, Assail Ajuj is going to be the bigger guy, right? Yep. He's 6 foot tall. He's, going against a guy that's 5'7". And for Ajuj, he's the striker out of the two, the predominantly a striker anyway. I will say that obviously Fonts has some good striking as well. He's got a body kick TKO that he had 2-3 fights ago, something like that. So the guy can strike, but I do think that with the height and reach advantage for Ajuj, I do think that he's going to be probably winning the striking exchanges for the most part, especially with the way that he's able to keep guys at the end of his strikes. But if Fonts is able to use his striking to open up some takedowns, get the fight to the mat, Ajuj is not a very, I won't say he's a bad grappler, but he's not, that's definitely not his area of expertise. Ultimately, I'm taking Ajuj for my pick in this one, kind of just because I think that the higher level experience, the longer range, and the striking is going to get it done for him. But I think it's a good close fight, and I think that with Ajuj being the hometown guy, he might get the rub if it's a really, really close fight. But what do you think, Tdub? Where are you at?
Well, I mean, his 5-1 record, it looks good. I think he went 3-0 in the year 2023 after his loss, so I think that's good. But my main concern with him is he don't pack a lot of power and finishing ability. And I think, is it Font or Fontes? I think he's a well-rounded guy, I think. And I think if he gets to touch his chin, we could see a big upset here. I know he's probably like a plus 900 maybe.
He's not that far, no. I think Ajuj is only like a -2 something.
Oh, he's only a -2 something? I think the fight is closer than the line says, I think. So
unless it's changed.
I'm not sure. I'm
pulling it up right now.
Yeah, pull it up so we can be sure.
Yeah, we'll see where this line is at, folks. Usually I'm not the guy running the odds, but we've got it tonight. Yeah, Ajuj is actually a -240 on most books. For Fontes, he's plus 190, the best available odds for him. So, I mean, everybody else is seeing that it's closer than you would assume based on the Bellator experience for Ajuj.
And I think Fonts, those guys over in Brazil, they're not cupcakes. He's fighting some
definitely
over there. So I think that'll play out in this fight as well. So I'm gonna just be the guy on the outside with this one.
There you go. So you're taking Fontes, are you?
Fontes. I
like it. I'm gonna jot that. I'm gonna keep a note of all the fights that we differ on. I think that'll be interesting to see at the end of this and how it ends up after the fight card plays out. Chat, let us know though, which side are you on this one? This is actually one that I've heard a lot of people do like the Fontes side, so I don't blame you a bit for that. I'll let you kick off the next one between Aspen Ladd and Ekaterina Shakalova. I think is how you say that. Ekaterina Shakalova. Who do you have in this matchup and why?
Ladd is gonna come in this fight the bigger fighter, I think, and I think he's fought some tough competition over in the PFL. And he's decent on the feet as well. And I think he's got a good enough ground game for this fight. Shakalaev is how you say it?
Shakalova? I don't know. Something like that.
Shakalova.
Yeah.
Watching this guy fight, I think he's got an average ground game. And I also think he fought some low competition as well. I'm sorry. I'm saying he. And then she is the younger fighter in this one, but I think Ladd's going to get this one done in this fight. Good enough ground game. I think she comes in this fight in controller, and maybe get a decision win, if not the.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think Ladd, obviously, she's going to be bigger. I mean, 5'2" for Shakalova, and they're fighting 145 pounds. The girl's built like she's strong. But she went to a split decision in her last fight where it was clearly a layup fight that she was supposed to win. And I remember watching that fight thinking like, and I think I had Ekaterina, I think I had her parlayed because I'm an idiot. And I remember being really nervous, and she eked it out, but my goodness, was it way too close. And I was high on her going in because she looked good against like some really low level competition. And I wasn't as, I guess it's hard to know if someone's actually good or if they're just beating low level competition, because it's like anybody can look good on a heavy bag kind of thing. And I think for Shakalova, I think this is a huge step up in competition, and I think they're about to cut their losses, and Aspen Ladd's going to just run her over, get a decision, because that's kind of what she does. This is at 145 pounds, and I don't think Ekaterina is going to be able to match the size and physicality of Ladd. So we both agree on that one. That's good. Gonna make sure I note that as well. So we're on the same. I feel more comfortable with the picks. We're on the same page. Let's go ahead and tell everybody the odds for that one real quick. Ladd is a minus 160. So Ladd's just like a slight favorite. That might be playable. I might play that.
Playing that.
Yeah, and then plus 130 on the comeback. Yeah, I hate to bet on Aspen Ladd because she's been inconsistent, but
yeah, I do. Come on. Over, she's beat some people, but I just think like the competition is just not comparable to like the PFL or something like that, you know. So I go with the Ladd side, bigger fighter, good ground game, you know, decent on the feet. I think that's my pick for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, sure, you look at it and you say, oh, Ladd's coming off of a loss, but that loss is to Kayla Harrison, so it's cool. Mushroom MMA asking about method of victories. Yeah, I definitely think decision for both of them thus far. Tdub, obviously, the first one said Fontes probably going to pull off the big upset with a finish of some sort. Do you think it's going to be a submission or knockout?
Ooh, I think a knockout if I'm going to go.
Knockout? Yeah. There you go. Okay, so we've got decisions for me, and we've got knockout and a decision for Tdub in the two fights thus far. We can move on to the next one. The next fight up, we have, I'm going to mess this up. We have Imam Shafi Aliyev. I think it's how you say it. Imam Shafi Aliyev takes on Mike Shipman. Now, another interesting kind of style or kind of matchup for the Bellator card, because this is one that Aliyev should easily win this because he's the up-and-coming prospect. He's the guy. He's like a minus 900. Let me check. I think he's minus 900 or something crazy. Yeah, minus 900 on some books, over minus 1,000 on others. He's supposed to win.
Yeah.
And I think he does. But Mike Shipman's a veteran, right? He's 15-4 on the career. So like it's not like the dude is just like, it's not like he's bad, right? His last 5 fights, he's 2-3. So that does kind of show you that maybe he's kind of towards the tail end, or he's reached that level in competition where he's kind of peaked at that competition, because you know, obviously he has had 4 losses in his career, 3 of them coming in the last 5 fights. So it makes sense that the level of competition he's fighting now are the people that are going to beat him. Aliyev, on the other hand, has not tasted defeat. the dude has looked like a world beater. He's looked very good, but he hasn't fought the grizzled veterans, of like Bellator, PFL type of stuff. So I'm going to take Aliev, and I think Shipman's going to hang on until probably the third round, and I think the ref will call it due to ground and pound, call it a TKO in the third round. What do you think?
Wow. Okay. So Shipman, he's got about 10 fights in the Bellator cage. I think he's got good striking power and sub ability. When you talk about his competition, he's fought good competition. And, Aliev, like you said, he's an up-and-coming prospect. He's very good on the ground, and he's fought great competition as well. And how I see this fight going is Aliev is going to get this guy on the ground and pound him out. That's the way I see this fight going. He's got to make a statement here as he's coming up in the rankings, and he wants to challenge for a title. He's got to do this in good fashion. So I think he's going to control this guy, Shipman, and go ahead and take his place in the rankings.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I think so too. And you think ground and pound, how early you think he gets him out of there? Early or late?
Well, since there's going to be quite a bit of grappling going on, I think he's going to get him out of there late second round, early third round.
Okay. All right. We're pretty much on the same page there. I do like to see that. I'm going to make a note of that as well. So we're flying through these. Obviously, we got 7 fights to go. We've all been doing this thing for about 11 minutes, so we're going to slow it down a minute. We're going to talk about a couple other things right quick. First, I want to highlight, dude, check out the shirt I got on, right? Yo, you gave me that.
Wow. Okay. I'm
throwback. The Soldiers MMA. Yeah. Obviously, the team isn't really the MMA team anymore. Now you're more coaching kids wrestling and doing fitness and stuff. But I still rep the shirt.
Well, good news. I'm over at P&G Fitness. It's more of a boxing gym.
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot of young boxing prospects coming.
Okay. So you're gonna do some boxing coaching now?
Well, we won't say boxing coaching. We won't go that far. But I'm getting their fitness together. Obviously, I can throw little gems in here and there. I know about mentality when it comes to fighting. So I think that's what I'm bringing to the gym so far. Who knows what the future will hold? But hopefully we'll be having a show, P&G Fitness or P&G Promotions show here coming up soon.
That's sick, dude. That's awesome. So yeah, for everybody in the chat that doesn't know, Tdub actually ran an MMA team, like a regional local MMA team in the Omaha area that they had some moderate levels of success, some good guys. Tdub was really good about just kind of taking guys that maybe started out their career very poorly, and he was able to kind of take them under their wing and really coach them up to like the best of their abilities. This man's an excellent MMA, not just coach, but promoter, cornerman, and kind of mentor to some guys that kind of needed that, especially, some of the guys on that team, man. I mean, the stories. I miss those guys. Most of them were awesome. A couple of them were a little weird, but most of them were awesome. I still miss quite a few of them. I look forward to seeing some of them again, but yeah, so Tdub knows his way around the MMA cage. Let's put it that way. He's been in the corner of quite a few fighters, and how many fights do you think you've cornered so far?
Oh, well, a few years ago, I did the winning percentage for us over the past, what was it, 2020 to like 2023, I believe. And it was over 16 fighters that came through the door, but only about 8 of them made it to the cage.
Sounds about right.
But fighters that weren't mine, I did corner quite a few fighters that aren't my fighters. Sometimes I'm at the event, and you know how fighters are. I don't have a corner,
which is crazy.
I'm here today, I guess. You don't have a corner, so. But if I had to put a number on it, walking to the cage, I would say over 25 or more times.
That's pretty good, man.
Yeah.
Hey, if I ever chose to get back in there, I wouldn't happen to put it past anybody else. I definitely want to have you in my corner. You're the man.
Thank you, bro.
Appreciate it. So, with that said, that lends a little credibility to your knowledge of the sport of MMA. You've been front row. By front row, I mean the literal, like right there, touching the cage, in the cage with these guys, helping them out. So you know what you're talking about. And let's parlay that right into going into the next fight where we have Mansour Barnaoui, who is coming up a couple of losses, but I mean, the guy is legit, and he's taking on a newcomer to Bellator, if I'm not mistaken, in Yusuke Yachi, I think is how you say that.
Yeah.
I believe he comes from the Southeastern Asia kind of regional scene out there. I believe he's had a couple of fights in Ryzen, if I'm not wrong. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I've watched a couple of fights on him prior to this. It was tough to find. It was tough to find all of his fights, but then again, I found a handful. Ryzen was the last. That's what it was. I was correct. Ryzen.
Right.
But with that said, who do you like in this one? Why do you like them in this one? And what are kind of your thoughts about this? How does it end?
Yachi. Like you said, I couldn't find too much on this guy. I do know he's about 26-13 for the record.
Yep.
I think this guy's primarily a boxer, stand-up guy. And Bowie, I think he's gonna come in this fight and tear this guy up. He's gonna take him down. He's not gonna allow him to stand and box. And he's gonna control him on the ground. And if didn't he fight Nurmagomedov just not too recently, I believe.
Like for Barnaoui? Let's see. Barnaoui's last matchup was oh man, it was a Russian guy, was it Primus was the last one? No, J.J. Wilson. Primus was before that. He fought before that it was Piccolotti, Aso Kwan.
Mm-hmm.
There we go, pulled it up. But yeah, he's fought quite a few higher level Bellator guys as far as Barnaoui has. He did have a brief stint in the UFC way back in the day, if I'm correct. Like a really brief stint, but that was like forever ago. Like that was another lifetime ago. Like that was. Let me pull that up. I'm gonna double check. I don't even remember those fights. That's how long ago that was. It was. Let's see. I don't think he actually even ever made a debut.
Really?
Yeah, that's right. He never actually made his debut. Like he was signed to the promotion at one point is what it was. And then never actually debuted because there was talks that the UFC had brought on Barnaoui, and I think that they were going to. I don't know if they were going to put him on like a Ultimate Fighter or something like that. But I remember this being like news, and I don't think he ever made the debut. And I think then he went. I think because he'd won that $1 million is what happened. Because he won that $1 million for what was that Road FC years ago, and then he took a bunch of time off of fighting before coming back to Bellator. That was Road FC was in. Yeah, so he won that Road FC tournament in 2019, and then he didn't fight again until 2022. That's what it was. So since returning to the cage in 2022, he's actually 1-2 in his fights, which is not what you want to see. But yeah, he definitely at one point was going to go to the UFC, and I think he didn't just because he won that $1 million and was just like, cool, I'm done fighting. Oh, he did fight Islam Makhachev. But that was back in 2013. I didn't even know that. Holy cow!
Nurmagomedov, but it was Makhachev. I mean, you know, I think this guy. He's a decent French fighter. I mean, he's got it going for himself. I just think in this fight, he just needs to take it to the ground, control this guy, and get him a win.
Yeah, I mean, that's his style. I mean, for Barnaoui, that's what he does. I mean, he is a grappler through and through. He can strike, don't get me wrong. He's got good knees. But yeah, dude, he's definitely more of a grappler. And I think that's what he's going to do here, too. I think Yachi seems pretty good, but he seems like that guy that's going to go out there and just kind of try to get into a firefight. And I don't think he's going to be able to hang with Barnaoui. But then again, Barnaoui hasn't looked like the Barnaoui we used to know. You know what I mean? So maybe it's a thing where Barnaoui is he just doesn't have it anymore. Because like I said, he's 1-2 in the 3 fights he's had coming back. But then again, it's a lot higher level competition than he was fighting before. So I don't know. But I do think he gets it done. Sounds like we agree on that. I think he subs him at some point. I'm going to say he gets the sub in the second round. What do you think?
I think that's fair enough. I mean, I don't know what the takedown defense is looking like, but if he can get him to the ground and control him a bit, get him tired a bit. I think late second round sounds like a good spot.
He's also going to be quite a bit taller, too. I believe he's, let's see, Yachi, I have it written down here, is 5'9". Barnili's like 6 foot. So, I mean, there's that, too. So, I mean, once he gets him down, he's going to be able to wrap him up like an octopus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's that. Let's move on to our next one. We got, for Mushroom down there, wanting to know about the method. We got second round sub for that one, brother. Moving on to the next one, we got the heavyweights. Oh, crap. That means I got to break this one down first. We have Slim Trebelsi taking on Louis Sutherland. Heavyweight is tough because they're heavyweights and they get tired easy, and anybody can knock out anybody, but they also really suck at getting finishes if it goes past the first 5 minutes. I'm going to go with Slim for the simple fact that he's undefeated. He looked pretty good in his last fight, albeit against, what was it, Davion Franklin, who's, so-so. But yeah, I'm going to go with Slim Trebelsi to probably get this one done. I'm going to say decision because I think it's going to be one of those things where it goes a little bit and they both get tired and they kind of lay on each other, like just up against the cage and don't do much. But that's usually what my lean is for heavyweight fights anyway. Outside of the highest level of heavyweights, is that they're just going to lean on each other for 15 minutes. So what do you think? Do you have a strong read on this one? Because I could definitely be swayed.
Sutherland's got some decent hands at 6-2. What is he? 3? He's won 3 of his last 5.
Yep.
So that's where I'm struggling, with this fight. Is it Trebelsi? I don't know how to say this guy's name. You guys don't make
Trebelsi, yeah.
Trebelsi, I think his name is. I think he was FS champ, which is a pretty reputable promotion, and to me that means he's fought some good competition. So that's why it's really hard for me to go to Sutherland because, I mean, like I said, he's only won 3 of his last 5. He's not looking really hot coming into this fight. So I guess that's where I'm going with this one, man. I ain't got too much more on that one.
Fair enough. Yeah, and like for Sutherland, like you said, he's won 3 of his last 5. And let's see, the guys he's been fighting. So we've got a 5-2. Nothing, no shame. That's pretty good. That's what his current record is. Then he lost to a 5-2. And then he beats a 4-1, but that was in PFL, so that was good. But then he lost to a 1-0 in PFL. You never really know on that one. And then he then he has a win over a 1-3. So like, he saw some good guys. He could come out here and get the win here. What are the odds? Let's see. The odds have.
I haven't looked at the odds.
Oh, wow. The odds have Slim as a -400 favorite. The comeback on Sutherland is +300. That's a bit wild considering they're heavyweights that are pretty early in their career.
Yeah.
Yikes. That's almost like you throw like $5 on the underdog just because they're.
Yeah. I'm about to say, make some picks here. We're gonna have to spread it out a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna take Slim as my official pick, but like I probably won't bet it. It's heavyweights. I hate betting heavyweights. I really do. Unless it's like a high level heavyweight. I hate betting heavyweights, except for overs. I love betting heavyweight overs because heavyweights, because they usually give you plus 1.5 rounds. Let me see what they got for us here. Let's see if we can get some props going. Oh, here we go. Over 1.5 rounds is -150. Opened at -185 and is now -150. So people think this is ending early, but guys, I don't know if you know.
We're talking about heavyweights here, unless you're talking about
heavyweights.
I'm gonna have to go with the over in this one. I think both those odds don't really tell the story of this match. I think it'll be a little bit more even than people think. Now,
yeah, and so.
Yeah,
let's see. So for Slim, his last fight, it finished because of that injury, which, I mean, that is what it is. So it was a round 1 injury. So, like, Franklin, obviously, that, whatever. But his fight before that went over 1.5 rounds. He got the ground and pound finish later in round 2. Before that, it was a unanimous decision. And then before that, he got him out of it early. But, like, before in his last 3 fights, 2 of which did go over 1.5. For Slim, I don't mind that at all. What about Louis? Let's see where Louis' fights are ending. Louis Sutherland. His fights have all been... Oh, yeah, this guy's knocking everybody out. I forgot about that. Yeah, he's been knocking everybody in. So if he wins, it might not go over. But then again, his most recent loss, actually, both of his losses are unanimous decision. Ooh. Yeah, I'd play the over.
Over? I think over. I think that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
That's right. What do you think, chat? You guys got the over? But yeah, dude, I'm with you there. Next one. This one should be a pretty easy one to break down. We have Tdub Gowdy versus Archie Colgan. I'm gonna let you kick this one off. I have a strong lean on this, but I'd love to see if you're on the same side. Where are you at, and how do you think it goes?
Colgan. He's undefeated, and I think he's got good takedown defense, and I think he's a well-rounded fighter as well.
Mm-hmm.
And Goody, I think he's got good power as well. I don't think he's got good takedown defense. So I think that's a good method of victory for Colgan. But Googie, didn't he fight Sage Northcutt at some point?
Colgan?
Yeah. No. Goody.
Oh, Goody. Okay, I was like, I don't remember that. Actually, I don't remember. Let me double check. If he did, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. Way back in 2018. You are right. I forgot all about that fight. He lost to him, obviously, but
yeah. He got
good memory
in that fight. Sage Northcutt, I remember vividly. Sage Northcutt took advantage of him, on the takedown. Maybe he worked on that a bit. That was so long ago. Fighters can change every fight. Mm-hmm. But I just think Colgan is an up and comer, and he's gonna go ahead and use that takedown and control this fight, possibly get a finish.
I think he probably will.
Yeah, I get a finish, probably early second round.
Yeah. I wouldn't even be surprised if it was first, honestly. Archie Colgan is getting better every single fight. This guy is fantastic. I've been on the Archie Colgan train for a while now, so I'm a big fan of him. I would love to get an interview with him. So Colgan, if you see this, brother, let's get on an interview. But for Archie Colgan, like this guy, first off, he's 28, still not even in his prime yet, and he's just improving rapidly every fight. He's fighting a guy that's 37 in Gowdy. He's not coming with anything new at this point, right? I mean, at 37, you're coming in with, sure, he's got his skills, but he's not coming in with like a new bag of tricks. Like he has what he has at this point in his career, because he's had a pretty long career. And I mean, it's been a good career. Obviously, 17-6 on the record is pretty good. He's still 4-1 in his last 5 fights. The guy's looked good, but he's fighting a guy in Archie Colgan that is an absolute wrecking ball. This guy when he started in Bellator, he was a little bit reckless, throwing big bombs, not really dialing things up, doing things like, calculated, whatever. As he's gone in his career, the guy started getting better at, picking his shots, putting together combinations rather than slinging big bombs. His takedown defense has gotten even better. He's kind of that wrestle boxer for the most part, but he has the skills to do whatever he needs to. And at 28 years old, this guy just keeps improving. I understand he's like a -600 favorite. Let's see what the actual odds are. I don't know if it's still active. -650 now. Or I guess if you have Bovada, you can still get him at 600. But yeah, most places have it -650. But Colgan's winning this fight. Like I have a hard time seeing Gowdy getting the win, especially because Colgan has just looked so good, and he showed some really mature performances in his last few. I think he gets him out of there in the first round. I think he cracks him and just puts him down and follows it up with some nasty shots. And yeah, I mean, like you said, he could get him out of there first or second. So,
to be fair, to give Gowdy is his name, right? To give him credit, he's got good power in his hands too. I mean, one punch can change a fight, but this Colgan is just something terrible for these guys in that division, and I think he's going to tear this guy apart and get him a good finish and put everybody on notice.
Yeah, Gowdy did knock out that Musa in his last fight, so I mean, there's that. But yeah, I mean, before that, he was on a tear. He has that loss to Alfie Davis, but Alfie Davis is a tricky fight for most people. But he's got some decent wins in there. That Musa win's not bad. Let's see, for Gowdy, who else did he beat that was okay? Well, yeah, the rest of them are like not that good, I guess. But I mean, not that they're bad fighters. It's just like there's not a whole lot of like big name value to it, because a lot of his fights, like against high level guys, are losses, because he was 1-5 5 in the UFC. So that's not usually something you want to see, but he did get a win in the UFC. So we'll give him that. Head kick knockout, clear back in 2017. But yeah, so Gowdy's not bad though. Don't get me wrong. Like 5 of his 6 losses come from UFC. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but this little Rowan Murphy, to be honest, like
Yeah.
in what matchup? You're hilarious, dude. Real fight picks, you're funny, man. I appreciate you.
Odds on this one?
Let's see. Colgan's like minus 650.
Yeah. So with the
probably safe. I mean,
round 1 finish.
Let's see what the odds are for round 1 if they have that out. Let me look. Let's see. Colgan. Oh, the under 2.5 is actually plus 105. I would play that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because like Colgan inside the distance is only plus 115. So you might as well play the under 2.5 just in case. At plus money, still only 10 cents different. You know what I mean? Colgan round 1 is only plus 300. Yeah, screw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the under 2.5 is a live spot. And I hate betting unders. I know a lot of people love betting the unders. I hate betting unders. I love betting overs because betting an under, you often, like, I know you have like time for it to like materialize, but you can kind of tell pretty early on, oh, there's no way this fight is finishing early. This fight is definitely going to decision. You can kind of tell that pretty early on in a lot of fights, and it just sucks to sit there being like, come on, do something the whole time, and then you're just frustrated. So I'd rather watch an over because then even when it's getting crazy and you're like, oh, no, you're like, stop fighting, guys, slow it down, like cage push. Like I love that because it's like, I enjoy it. So I do hate betting the unders unless it's like a Terrence McKinney fight. We'll always put the under there. That makes sense. But I mean, like, dude, that's just that guy just comes out and tries to kill everybody right away. But yeah, I think the under in this one's live. I think Colgan is a savage. I think he can get this one done. But we can move on to the next one. And okay, so the next 2 fights actually are fights that I'm really having a hard time making a pick. I haven't made my official like check mark in my notebook like I do for the next 2, but I do have a lean on them. But I can definitely be swayed, and I feel like we might end up on opposite sides on at least one of these 2. But we have Yves Landau, who is 37 years old. Unfortunately, he's getting up to the end of his career, but still 4-1 in his last 5. He's taking on Jonas. Oh, I'm going to mess this up. Billarino, I think it's how you say it. Billarino. Billarino is only 33, so this guy's in his prime, and he's 4-1 in his last 5 as well. So it's kind of like, okay, we have the grizzled vet that's got like 29 fights or something like that. Still looking good, but he hasn't fought that like really hungry up and coming good prospect. And he's fighting a guy in Billarino who 11-2-1 on the career, 4-1 in the last 5 in his prime. I still think Landau's getting it done. I know that sounds crazy. I think Landau's going to be able to stay outside and just use that really awkward style he has because he has that really like uncomfortable, like kind of weird style, and he's good at just kind of picking guys apart and winning a decision. And with this being in France, the dude fights out of France. So, like, with this being in France, I mean, I could see him getting the nod. Like in his last fight, the Landau got the win by split decision. It was a close fight, right? Those were 301 is when that happened. Before that, he got a unanimous decision over Pyotr Nijelski. That's a good win. Before that, he's got another unanimous decision win, but he got a body kick TKO against Gavin Hughes, quarterback, 4 fights ago, only in 2022. So the guy's been relatively active, at least a couple fights a year. His losses are to tough competition, like Tim Wild, stuff like that. Like Tim Wild's a good fighter. Like you can't really count that against him too much. But I mean, Yves Landau has looked really good so in the start of his career, he had some rough spots, and that was because he didn't really get his MMA style because he's more of that kickboxing style. And he eventually started to put things together. I think he's just going to be too much of a vet here. And I think he's going to be able to stay outside and pick him apart. And as an underdog, I believe Landau is the underdog still. Yeah, plus 170. Money is coming in on him, though. He opened at minus 115, though, and then it bounced up to plus 185. Now he's at plus 170. I think Landau can get it done. What do you think? Am I crazy?
Here's the thing. Jonas, he's got the ability to finish fights,
Definitely.
And he's got good hands on the feet. I think this guy had a nice wheel kick on the Dana White Contender Series, if I remember correctly. And I mean that's flash.
Yes, yes, he did.
But the main thing is he's got finishing ability, and he's going up against an older guy at 37 years old. But I'm going to side with you on this one, and this is why. I think Evans still has some more in the gas tank. When you look at UFC, I think it's 301 Anthony Smith. Everybody probably thought, oh man, this guy he's probably dwindling down. I don't know how much really he got left. And also Jose Aldo. I think just times are changing. All right. And we're going to give the older guys a chance tonight. And I think I'm going to go with Evis Landu.
There we go.
Ability as well. I mean, come on, guys. I think
everybody on this channel knows we were on the Anthony Smith train. Gosh darn it. He cashed a ticket for us. We all know. The video's up there. You know we were picking him. I pick him in most fights, though, because I just like the guy. Like, he's a good dude. But at the same time, like, it's just sometimes you get that veteran lesson, and I think Landu's gonna be able to do the same. So I'm glad we're on the same page here. I thought we were gonna be opposite, so I love that. The next fight, I'm gonna let you kick it off, which is good because I'm gonna hear your opinion on this one before I give mine, because it's another one I'm really torn on. We have I'm gonna mess up his name, Gregory Bebane, I think is how you say it, or Bebane, I don't know, one of those two, probably Bebane. It's French, right? I think that's how it goes. And then he's taking on Costello Vancinas. And Vancinas is 3-2 in his last 5, 31 years old. He's taking on Bebane, who's 40 years old, but he's 5-0 in the last 5. In fact, he's on like an 8-fight winning streak, all of which are finishes, 7 of them in the first round, 1 of them in the second. Like, this dude is just like, I don't know. So I don't know what's going on. He's just finishing guys, and he's like looked like career best at his upper 30s into 40. But he's fighting Costello Vancinas, who's already been a hyped up prospect, losing to only people that are at the top. So where are you on this one? What do you think? Who do you have and why?
Ooh, I was torn on this one. I won't lie, but I'm not gonna go with the older fighter in this one. I'm not gonna go with the older fighter in this one. Van Steens, he's got a great ground game that I think he'll be able to use to good ability in this fight. I think he'll probably press him against the cage and try to tire him out a bit. Since he is the older fighter, that gas tank, I don't know how much you can hang on to that. So I think Van Steen's gonna come in this fight, and I think we're gonna win by decision in this fight. Like I said, I was torn in this fight because how could this guy's finishing people at 40 years old, man? I mean, that's a big old exclamation mark. Look at this, but I'm not gonna be a fool with this one. I think I'm gonna go with Van Steens. Just go with the younger guy, good ground game, control the fight, suck all the air out of him, make him tired, maybe get a finish, but I'm thinking decision.
So okay, I don't mind that. I understand where you're getting on it. I could definitely. Most people are on the Vancinas side, but let me throw this at you. So Bebane is like a plus 300 underdog, first off.
Mm-hmm.
Him to win in round 1, no method, just round 1, I'm seeing plus 800. Him to win in round 2, I'm seeing plus 1,200. I mean, Bebane is not going to win a decision. I don't think that's possible. I mean, it's possible. I don't think it's happening. This dude's a finisher through and through. That's what he does. When's the last time this guy won a decision? Let me look. We're gonna look. We're gonna go back and check, okay? Because I mean, he's been finishing guys, right? The last time he won a decision, he has 2 decision wins in his career. The last one was 2011. The last time he won a decision was 2011. I mean, his last loss was 2013, which is crazy. But his last time he won a decision was 2011. So I think it's fair to say that Bebane is not going to probably win a decision. Every fight that he's won since then has been in round 1 or 2, most of which in round 1. In fact, if you look at his whole career, some of these don't even have listings because they're clear back in the early 2000s. But round 1, round 1, round 1. He has a round 2 in there, and then 30 seconds into round 2, round 1, round 1, round 1. Like, this dude is a round 1, maybe round 2 guy.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if you play Van Steenis' money line at minus 375, you can cover yourself pretty well by playing the Bebenet side, round 1, round 2.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do some math on it to figure it out, but
Yeah.
I think you can play it so you've got Van Steenis to cover your 2 bets on the other 2, and then you play Bebenet round 1 and round 2. Because, like I said, he's not winning. I don't see him winning in round 3, and I definitely don't see him winning a decision. So then, worst case scenario, Van Steenis wins, and you break even. Best case scenario, Bebenet wins in round 2 because you get the most money. But if he just wins in general, you cash on a plus 800 or a plus 1200 play there. I think that's how you play it.
Yeah.
For the sake of a pick, I'm going to be a wild man, and I'm going to say Bebenet gets it done just because this man is insane. I don't know. He just keeps, like, I picked him before. What fight was that? I think it was it was a fight where he was like a decent underdog. I can't remember now. There was a fight where he was a decent underdog not that long ago on the channel that I ended up picking him, and a bunch of people were like, dude, that was sick. I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, like the 40-year-old's getting it done, right? But he's really live in those first 2 rounds. Somebody in the chat, somebody that's got like a calculator can do some math for me. Figure out the math. How much, like what percentage of a unit do I have to play on each of those, or how many units, I guess, because we're getting free money here. If I play, whatever, say 3.75 units on the money line for Costello Van Steenis, what can I play on the round 1 and round 2 for Bebenet and make it so I profit on either of the Bebenet finishes and break even if Van Steenis wins? Somebody that's good at math, somebody in the chat with a calculator or something, please let me know. That way we can just post that bet as soon as we get off this stream tonight. So, because that's it. And everybody in the chat, you guys can post it as well, and you can say you heard it here first. Me and Tdub, we breaking this thing down, getting crazy. I'm pretty sure that maths, as the young would say these days. But yeah, we're split on who we think is going to win. But I think we can both agree that free money is free money. So hopefully we can get that.
Money, no.
And I'm assuming you can't really see Bebenet winning like a decision.
No, not at all. I don't see him winning the decision. What is Vegas trying to tell us with this plus 300 is what I'm trying to figure out, okay? Why do you have this finisher at plus 300?
Yeah, no, just money lines plus 300.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Because just him inside the distance is only plus 400. So they know that he's getting a finish if he gets a win. But when you play specifically round 1 and specifically round 2, that's when you get the real money, plus 800 or plus 1200. Mm-hmm. And that's where it comes in. So you just got to separate that a little bit. It's on Bet Online, and sometimes, because like Bet Online is the only place that has props out for these at this point in the night. But yeah, like, I mean, if you look at the lines, I'm sure there's a way to play it. But I don't know. We're boring the people in the chat. We've gone over this one a little bit too much. We'll circle back if somebody in the chat can put us up with the right numbers there. We'll move on to the co-main event. I'll break this one down, and then I'll let you take it over. We have Cedric Doumbé taking on Jaleel Willis. Now, I'm coming off of 2 underdog picks, and I was tempted to take Jaleel Willis here because Jaleel Willis, he's skilled. And Doumbé, I mean, he's young in his career. He's had 6 pro fights in MMA, and he's coming off that loss to like a splinter in his foot. Like he got a splinter, or I don't know how this even happened. It was weird. But he didn't look great. He didn't look the way you wanted him to look in that fight prior to. Like he didn't look like the big favorite that he was supposed to be in that one. And in this one, Jaleel Willis, although he's 2-3 in his last 5 fights, let's just look at who Jaleel Willis is fighting. Jaleel Willis, I wish I just had this, all in my memory, but when you're on live stream, you often forget the stuff you got chalked away. Jaleel Willis, last time out, he's got a loss to Ramazan Kuramagomedov. Yeah, all right. No big deal. Beats Kyle Crutchmer. Good win. Loses to Sabah Hamasi. Hit or miss. Loses to Magomed Burkamov. Okay. Burkamov is like he's got like 1 loss in his career. Like that dude's an absolute savage. Kuramagomedov is obviously undefeated. So like the losses this guy's getting are good, right? Like he's losing to guys that are tough. He's got a win over Macon Mendonça. That's a good win. I mean, like he's not bad, right? He's got wins over Mark Lemminger, Dakota Bush, former UFC guy. I mean, former for a reason, I guess, but he was still good. But either way, Jaleel Willis is a pretty good fighter. So I was tempted, but ultimately I decided I'm going to take Doumbé, but I'm going to regret it, I think. Something tells me Jaleel Willis is going to upset the party, but I'm going to take Doumbé because I'm coming off of 2 underdog picks in a row, and I know that's not how you should do it, but like, I don't know. Doumbé probably should win, right? Like he should win, but Willis makes me nervous. What do you think? Maybe you can sway me.
Doumbé in his last fight, he got taken down quite a bit.
Yeah.
But he did have the ability to keep getting up, But if you ask me, he was losing that fight regardless, I think he was gonna lose that fight.
I thought so.
For this toe splinter or whatever. That is so awkward. I've never heard of that. But he just kind of pointed. If you tell the ref something's wrong, the ref's gonna stop the fight. I don't know where he thought he was getting with that. But he do have the ability to keep getting back up if you take him down. And I think Willis got some not so good wrestling, I want to say. And I'm not sold on his striking. In his last fight, I thought he could get knocked out anytime. Just looking at his defense and looking just looking at his striking overall, I felt as though this guy could get finished at any time. So I thought the striking was basic. And if he do get finished, this guy's getting finished pretty early. So, I mean, Doumbé, I think that's the angle to take in this one, especially since we're both on some heavy underdogs in this one. But I think I'm going to take Doumbé with you.
Cool.
Guess we're on the same team a lot.
Yeah. I think like Doumbé should win. I think it's just his last fight gives me too many red flags for me to feel confident, especially because he's what, like minus 500 or something crazy. Let's see. Minus 500. So like minus 500, that's scary. But I do think if he wins, like it's like you said, he's gotten finishes early, or like Willis gets finished early. So let's see, Doumbé to win probably by TKO. Oh, okay, it's not that bad, I guess. It's minus 160 for Doumbé by TKO, and that brings it down quite a bit from minus 500. But at the same time, I'd probably just pass. Like this is a fight that we don't need to be betting on. I don't think.
No.
At least for me, I would say Doumbé probably gets an early knockout if he wins. But like, if Willis comes in and just tries to wrestle and just keeps with that, like I could see this being rough. Even if he just cage pushes him for 3 rounds, I could see this not being a very good fight for Doumbé. But I don't know. Either way, let's go to the main event, dude. I'm excited for this one. We got Patchy Mix and Magomedov. Now, this is a rematch. Patchy Mix won the first one via guillotine, which is wild to me when people win by guillotine at a high level, because like guillotines are like, there's a reason that most guillotines fail. It's just like one of the least successful submission holds, but people keep somehow getting them at high level. Patchy Mix, he only has 1 loss in his career, and that was to Juan Archuleta quite a while back, where he just gassed out bad and just was done. Like and that actually that fight made me pick against Patchy Mix in a couple of other fights where I was like, oh, but he gasses out. And then I find out like later that like, oh man, after he's been beating these guys, he's good. That was just a one-off thing. So I like lost a bet on roughly on Stotts against him.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I probably picked Magomedov in their first fight against him. But now Patchy Mix has looked better than ever. The dude's absolutely fantastic. He's gone through a murderer's row at the 135-pound division in Bellator, and he's taken on Magomedov, who's 20-3 on the career. One of those losses being to Patchy Mix. Magomedov coming off of that big win, also via guillotine over Danny Sabatello, which is a big win. Who are you on this one? Do you think Mix can go 2-0 over Magomedov, or do you think Magomedov evens the score and then we go for the trilogy? What do you think happens?
If we know anything about MMA, it's really hard to beat a guy 2 times in a row. Now, Patrick Mix, he's pretty well versed, and he could take this fight wherever he want to take it. I think I'm so torn on this fight. If I have to make a pick, I have to go with Patchy Mix. But like I said, it's really hard to beat someone 2 times in a row. They're going to go back to camp. Coaches are going to get together. They're going to find some type of hole in your game to expose. And I just can't really find the angle. You know, I can't really find the angle from Nurmagomedov, and I just think Patrick Mix is gonna mix the fight up a bit. He's gonna go with the ground, go with the striking, mix it up, and possibly get a finish again in this fight. I think. So I'm going with Patrick.
Yeah, I could see him getting another finish too. I wonder he might even get the knockout because what I could see is Magomedov being wary about getting the takedowns, and Mix is he's good at throwing like knees up the middle and like a front kick that he has up the middle that's very damaging, I guess if you will. And I mean like Patchy Mix has okay. Let's look at Patchy Mix's last 5 fights. All right, he has a win over Sergio Pettis, chokes him out, chokes out Sergio Pettis. Sergio Pettis is legit. Yeah. Before that, knocks out Rafael Stotts with a knee to the head. I lost money on that one. That broke my heart. Before that, obviously the guillotine win over Magomedov. Before that, Koji Hiraguchi beats him by decision. That's when I realized, oh man, maybe this guy's cardio is good. And before that, I guess it was James Gallagher, but that's whatever. That's not that big of a deal. Gallagher's not that good. But either way, I don't mean Gallagher's bad. I mean, he's just not like Patchy Mix good. But like, Mix has beaten the who's who in Bellator. I think he's going to get it done again. I mean, I think that's it. I think he's just too good for anybody else in Bellator at this point in his career. He's not going to make that rookie mistake of gassing out, just, blowing his load early and gassing out. Magomedov is very skilled, and we cashed on him, guys. If you remember in the chat, we cashed on him over Danny Sabatello big time. That was wonderful. They gave us Magomedov at plus money, so that was good. McPooperton, which is one of the best names in the chat, obviously. I think Patrick Mix is UFC level as well. I think he competes easy in the top 10, likely in the top 5, no problem. But I mean, the guy has the frame for it. He's 5'11" with a 71.5-inch reach. So he's got the frame. He's got the skills. I mean, the guy can knock you out. He can, get the submission over you. His striking is developing. I wish if he could learn to put some more combinations together, that'd be good. He's pretty basic in the combination realm at this point, but at the same time, his grappling threat just makes him such a hard person to defend the strikes against that his strikes land. Patchy Mix is so good. I've got to take him here. I'm glad we agree. Like you said, you think he gets the finish as well. I'm going to say he probably gets the knockout, and I think he's going to get him with probably a front kick. I think he's going to get him with a front kick to the body, and I think he's going to drop him and then follow it up with some ground and pound. That's what I see happening. Do you have a specific outcome you could see?
Yeah, I was going to say the knee. Patrick Mix is going to mix it up. Within that grappling exchange, he's going to catch him with a knee, and I think he's finishing with a TKO here. He hit the
there we go.
A finish. Let's say late round 2.
Late round 2? I can see that. Yeah, round 2 sounds about right. Hey, so while we're here, I mean, we flew through these 10 fights. I mean, we've been doing this less than an hour so far. We don't need to go through the full card, but we're both from Nebraska. We're not from Nebraska originally, but we lived here a while.
Yeah.
We've got BKFC in Omaha this Friday, the same day as the Bellator card, so we can watch both. We don't need to go through the whole card. But if I pull this up, we know like half the freaking card. Like personally, we know half these people at least, if not more than half. In fact, I think I know more than half the people on this card. Are you familiar with the card?
Yeah. Absolutely.
What are your thoughts on the card and like for the BKFC, and like do you have any like standout like bets? Because everybody here in the chat is here for gambling, right? And they're gonna get a little BKFC bonus. I put a bunch of bets out on my Patreon. So everybody that doesn't know, patreon.com/138MMA. I've got some bets on the BKFC fights this week, not because I normally cover BKFC, but because I know these people. But Tdub, what stands out to you on this BKFC card? And maybe you got some good bets and some stuff like that.
I haven't looked at any bets just because I know my emotion will be tied into this quite a bit. But I'm looking forward to seeing Brandon Meyer get out there again, man. Beast mode, shock the world, and
my dude,
BKFC, and that was huge, And now he's back and he's doing some big things here for Omaha, Nebraska. I think that's really looking forward to see, and I want to see him propel in this fight game and keep going forward what he's doing. And I think he's doing great things. He came back. He probably took some of his earnings and sponsored Brady Minner. He
did.
Yep. I think that's dope, man. I think that's that's what this is all about, you know.
Brandon's just a genuine good human too. And like, so we'll peek behind the curtain for everybody in the chat, and I guess for you as well. I actually just interviewed him like an hour ago. So like I did that before we jumped on this live stream. I interviewed Brandon. I'll be posting that either tonight or tomorrow, so you guys can check out my interview I did with Brandon Meyer. He's a close personal friend of mine. Like we're buddies. Like I used to be his employer at my gym for a little. I mean, it was part time for him. He just did that kind of as a favor to me. But yeah, like we're like friends. So it was funny kind of interviewing him and like trying to play like the interviewer role, not just like, oh, that's my buddy Brandon. But yeah, I mean, he cashed big as a plus 500 underdog in his last fight. Big. And he went into that fight and looked like a minus 800. Like he beat that guy so bad. Like, sure, it went to decision, but like it was not close. It was not close. He dropped him what, 3 times?
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't close. Yeah, that was good. That was good. And that was down in Miami. That was that guy's home turf.
Yeah. He was, listen, let's just say it. He was not supposed to win.
No.
You know, and I'd be a liar if I said I put money on it. you know?
I definitely put money on him.
I did, and I didn't do it. I should have did it, you know? And that's why I'm staying out of this card.
Yeah.
I don't want to be tied in emotionally. Who do you think? What fight are you looking forward to?
I mean, obviously Brandon. Like, I mean, but obviously the money's not as sweet this time. He's like minus 105, which is, I mean, that's still an underdog technically, which is weird. Like, I don't think he should be an underdog after that last performance. But hey, I'll take it. I think he opened as like a minus 200 favorite, and people are just silly. But yeah, for like, I definitely like Brandon a lot. I also interviewed recently Carlos Trinidad Snake. You can watch that interview on the channel. I think he's going to win as well. I mean, and not just because I interviewed him. I just think that guy has the skills for BKFC. He's got a freakishly long wingspan for his division. The way he throws his long straight punches, he can hit guys from a range that they don't see it coming. He's got that sneaky lead uppercut as well. Like, I think Trinidad is easily going to be a contender in BKFC. I'll be surprised if he is not. Like, you know, I mean, if he's not fighting for a belt at some point soon, I'm going to be surprised. Money's coming in on his opponent, and I think it's because his opponent fought in the UFC, was on Ultimate Fighter Season 14, so I can understand why. But that was a long time ago. Season 14 was a long time ago. Trinidad's still coming up. I think he's getting that one done. I think he's like minus 150 right now. Do you have any others that stand out to you, that fight in particular, or anything else?
Oh, no, nothing that stands out. I want to go look at the card. I've just been seeing all the promotion on my Facebook, and these guys are our friends, so I kind of out for it. I don't know. I kind of want to get some tickets to it as well, but no, I don't have anything else for the BKFC. I just want to be a fan and fan out.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, I'm going to definitely stream it. I don't think I'm going to go. I think I'm going to stream it because BKFC's tickets, let's be honest, are really kind of expensive for like an event with like a bunch of like, and maybe it's just because there's a bunch of our buddies fighting. So like it's like, man, that's like a lot. Like the only seats that are cheap are the far back ones, and at that point you just watch the stream the whole time anyway, and you can stream the event on their like service for like, I don't know, cheap. Also, for all of the interviews I do, everybody. So I have 3 interviews recorded so far. One of them's posted. That's the Trinidad Snake one. I have an interview with Brandon Meyer and then Josh Krejci. I just did that one tonight, earlier today as well. I'll have their specific links in the description when I post their videos. So if you really connect with one of those fighters while watching and you're like, oh man, I want to support this guy and watch their fight, click their link to purchase the BKFC event or their app or whatever it may be, their subscription service. Because that's going to help out those fighters and helping out those local fighters, those guys that are on the come up. That does help them, helps them pay the bills, guys. So please do that. But I'll be rooting for Josh Krejci. I haven't bet on his fight yet. I think a bunch of money is going to come in on his opponent because he lost his last one, and both guys are Omaha guys, so that's interesting. I don't know. We'll see. I need a better plus money number on Krejci to bet him. I do like Krejci personally, so I think part of me is a little biased. Cassius Kane, another one. He's a slight underdog right now. I like Cassius. He's been on the channel, forever ago. I'm trying to schedule an interview with him. Our schedules haven't lined up just yet. but he was on the. Let's see. It was when Sabah Hamasi was going to fight Brennan Ward, and I had Cassius come on because he was Brennan Ward's fight prior to that, and he actually got me to switch my pick to Brennan Ward in that fight, and Brennan Ward won. So, but yeah, I'd like to see Cassius win. I'll be rooting for him. Ryan Braun, like, guy lives out there in Valley, which is a little closer to me. Like, I'd like to see Ryan Braun get the win. Couple of them that I'm not, that like Stardom guy or whatever, the dude, he's from South Africa.
Oh,
dude's legit.
Yes,
like, I don't know him personally. He's one of the few on this card that I don't know personally, but like, that guy's legit in his striking.
Yeah, you see him in a Dynasty cage, haven't you?
Yeah. I saw him in the Dynasty cage. Yep.
Yeah, he's legit. He really is. And Cassius, Killer Kane, that was one of my first favorite Dynasty fighters. Me and Krejci, we got a little bone to pick.
Yeah?
Yeah, Krejci knocked my guy out, bro.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's fair enough.
He knocked us out, some amateur stuff, but still, that one hurt,
Yeah.
Hoping that
I get that.
Get on the pro rankings, I was hoping that they would be able to meet and settle that, but Krejci is a great guy.
He is.
Human being, a great sport, you know what I mean? And he's doing a lot in the MMA community, helping a lot of people. I watch this process and how he's growing. And I'm glad he got the opportunity because he's been dying for another opportunity to AFC. So, Krejci, if you're watching this, I love you, brother, but hopefully Scrap gets back and you guys can settle that in the BKFC cage or something.
There you go. Yeah, see, I hate to say it, but Josh, I was rooting against Josh in that Krejci, that is, against in the in that matchup. But I root for him in most of his fights. I do like Krejci, good dude. But yeah, when I interviewed him today, I think anybody in the chat that's watching, you guys are gonna want to watch that interview. His story is pretty interesting. We got to dive into a little bit of like how he got into like MMA and fighting in general. It's definitely something, right? I mean, you'll get to see it when I post the interview. It's good. I'm not going to give away too much, but yeah, you're definitely going to watch that. Krejci's he's just a good dude, so I'll be rooting for him. What else do we got? We got two Omaha guys fighting against each other in Sean P-Town Wilson and Emeka Ifekandu.
Who you got?
That's a tough one.
Now I want to know, who do you?
So, like, Emeka's obviously like the cleaner, prettier striker, but like in BKFC, I don't think that necessarily always is what leads to victory. I think P-Town's going to get him. I like, especially as an underdog, if I got to back one, I'd take P-Town. And like, it's not because, and like, I think Emeka's, I like Emeka. He's a nice dude. I like him. But like, sometimes he's too clean and not gritty enough in the fights. Even in MMA, like he can win because he's good and he's clean, and like he's fought some good competition. Like, if we look at Emeka, let me pull him up on Topology real quick. He's fought some like high level guys.
He has. When's the last time? I think. Well, P-Town's been very active, but I haven't seen much from Emeka.
Yeah, Emeka's last fight. Okay, so we'll go back to his last like MMA fight was in 2021. Since then, he did a BKFC fight against Charlie Dubray. I mean, yeah, makes sense. He won that one. And then he did a boxing fight with Anthony Smith, but not the Anthony Smith you're thinking. It's a different Anthony Smith. Yeah. But for like for Emeka, if you go back through his record, like he fought Kyler Phillips, who obviously you know who that is, UFC guy. He fought Draco Rodriguez, former UFC guy. Michael Graves, former UFC guy. Like that dude's he's fought a lot of. He fought Rafael Stotts as an amateur clear back in 2014. So like Emeka's fought the who's who. Like that guy, he's fought some guys that are like legit, right? So I mean, he's good. I think P-Town's just going to be gritty, come forward and swing bombs. I think that's what's in BKFC. Sometimes that's all it takes. I think he's going to get it done. I think, man, I don't know. And like, yeah, I like him in this one or in that one.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
You're good, dude. But yeah, it's just a fun BKFC card, especially for us like Nebraska guys. So like for anybody in the chat, you guys are getting the knowledge from the guys who know. We know these guys. So like it's like if you and all your buddies got together in your homie's backyard and it's like everybody squares up to fight somebody, you kind of know who's probably going to win out of your buddies, right? It's kind of how it is for us, except this is like our buddy's backyard is like an arena in our hometown. So like it's wild, dude. But yeah, I'm super excited for that BKFC fight, which is why I wanted to kind of highlight just a couple of matchups on it here, just because, even though we were talking Bellator and I kind of sprung it on you. So there's that. But I'm glad to see we're both big on the Brandon Meyer side. He's just a solid dude. So, but with that, I guess we can kind of wrap it up. We've been doing it about an hour. It's pretty good in the chat. Actually, real quick, McPooperton wants to know what we think about Tatsuro Taira and Alex Perez. That fight was announced, was it yesterday? I mean, I think Taira probably gets it done. I think Taira's legit. I think he's super good. I know Alex Perez just is coming off of a big win over Nicolau, but it was a close fight up until it wasn't. And I think a lot of it came down to Nicolau. Just his chin isn't quite there anymore after that brutal knockout he suffered a couple fights back. So I'll take Taira, but like, I mean, Perez could give him that vet lesson because, I mean, Taira's still young. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. You know, we're big on the vets tonight, I guess. You know, I think it's before. I think like since Glover Teixeira won that championship, it's just changed my whole perspective on what you have the ability to do as you're getting older and as you're aging. And you know, I'm no longer gonna just write them off. Oh, look at the age, you know. I'm no longer doing that. I'm gonna look at everything objectively, and yeah, I'm with you on this one. And I think it's a good pick for that fight.
Yeah, I don't even think Perez is even like all that old. It's just that he's been around for so long. Like how old is he? He's like 32. Okay, so he's my age. Like dude's 32, but like he's just been around a long time. You know what I mean? So I mean he's technically in his prime. Yeah.
So only 30.
You what?
I figured.
Oh yeah.
That, but you know.
Yeah, because I mean he's been fighting for ages. Let's see.
I'm calling myself old, I guess, but I feel great, brother. I feel awesome. I feel 26.
Dude, I always tell people I stopped aging at 23.
For real.
I just stopped aging at 23. I was a.
Yeah, you still same from dude. It's been a while. We've been knowing each other. Still look the same. I don't see no gray hairs yet. There's
a couple of them that show up every now and then, like in the facial hair mostly, but I keep that pretty short because I can't grow a full beard. So, like I said, stop aging at 23, right? Oh, that's funny. But yeah, man, like big fights coming up. This is some good stuff. Is there anything you want to like hype up or anything you want to mention before we get out of here and let these guys get back to what they're doing?
Nothing special at all. Just, you know, pick smart, you know, put the right units on the right fights, win big, you know. And I think that's the goal for all of us. I hope all of the information we give you guys help you out. And I'm Tdub, the Dub Master. I'm here to help you get some dubs, baby. Heck
yeah. I'm kind of disappointed in the chat. Nobody gave us the math on that MMA fight, but that's okay. I'll have to figure it out after this and maybe get a bet going on it. But dude, thanks again for joining me. It's fun. It's always fun getting to break down fights with you. It's just fun getting to catch up with you as well. And you know, hopefully we'll do this more often. So thanks again. Everybody like the video on your way out. Please do that. And we'll catch y'all down the road. See you guys. Peace.